They've had a month break. That's a long time in Indian cricket. A month to rejuvenate from what has been a packed first half of the year, a month to recover from the disappointment of defeat in the World Test Championship final. And now, India are looking to hit the refresh button in Test cricket as they embark on a new World Test Championship cycle. The first assignment, a trip to the Caribbean, 2 tests in the West Indies, which gets underway with the first test in Dominica starting Wednesday. Gives us great pleasure to welcome on ESPNcricinfo Match Day, Deep Dasgupta. Deep, thank you so much. Good to see you again.
Yes.
Hope you've been well. The first thing that jumps out when you look at the series, the squad, is that this is now well accepted an Indian Test team in transition. You've had that great team which dominated Test cricket for a period of 4 or 5 years, but now you've got a mix. There are some of the old guard. There's some exciting new players. What has stood out to you about this squad, and what do you expect from India as they embark on this new World Test Championship cycle?
Yes, my first reaction is it's a great opportunity. You won't find a better opportunity to start a new cycle. You start kind of your, the transitional phase. Because with all due respect, West Indies hasn't been at its best last few years, especially this format. So it is a really good opportunity to start grooming in players, grooming in the new lot. And when you look at that squad, I think that's exactly what the plan is. And what I really like about this squad is they've not rushed into changing everything, right? It's like a slow process. You've got quite a few older names, the senior guys in there, but at the same time, you have some fairly new names as well. There'll be maybe a couple of debutants at least is what I see in this first test match. So I think it's a good mix of the new lot coming in, the new generation coming in, and obviously the seniors there.
You mentioned grooming, and that is one of the more exciting talking points as we build ahead to this series, because it allows a first look at India's next test, number 3. There is no Cheteshwar Pujara in the squad, and it appears likely that Yashasvi Jaiswal will get the nod. What do you expect from him? How do you expect him to go, especially considering this number 3 role? If you look at Indian Test cricket now over the last 3 decades, it's almost entirely been 2 gentlemen, Cheteshwar Pujara himself and Jaiswal's coach right now, Rahul Dravid. So no pressure.
No pressure, absolutely no pressure. But listen up. Obviously, he's had a really good last couple of years, whether it's IPL, most importantly, first-class cricket. When we are talking about Test match format, he's been very, very good. And again, this is a step up. There's no 2 ways about it. This is a step up. But I think it's come at the right time for someone like him or Rituraj Gaikwad, whoever it is. And because both of them seem to be in good form, good nick, should be good confidence as well, coming off that really good IPL season. So I think everything put together, this is a really good time. And how I see it is obviously there'll be a definite change in the approach when this new generation comes in. Obviously they're from a different school of cricket, if I may say so. So the approach would be different. They'll be playing a different maybe brand of cricket as well. Not the kind of cricket that we've seen from the number 3s that you've mentioned, whether it's Rahul Dravid or Pujara. So it'll be it'll be a little different. And I hope it is different. And I hope whether it's Rituraj or Yashasvi, if it's Yashasvi, they don't change how they bat. Just because it's Test match cricket, just because they're batting at number 3 in Test match cricket, I hope they still back themselves and back themselves to play the way they've played so far and got so much of success.
The other area of big interest, Deep, if you scan through that Indian squad, and this has been talked about a bit, is all of a sudden you find a rather inexperienced pace attack. With Shami rested for this tour, Bumrah still not around, Umesh Yadav out of the mix seemingly. All of a sudden, in Mohammad Siraj, you have someone who hasn't played 20 tests. And he's the leader of the pack, and all of the others combined have only played 13 tests between them. You go back 2.5 years, at the end of Gabba 2021, one of the things India were most proud about was this bench strength and that the whole depth of pace options. And at the moment, is it now starting to seem that maybe the cupboard's a little bare at the moment?
It seems like that because a lot of those guys are injured. Someone like Prasidh Krishna and these guys are injured. So obviously you would feel that way. But having said that, you still have enough. I mean, someone like Mukesh coming in, I'm happy to see Navdeep Saini in there as well, because he burst onto the scene. He was, along with Siraj, he was the next two guys coming through. And then suddenly he just fell off the radar. He fell off the cliff completely for a year. Obviously got injured, and then obviously it takes a little while to recover and get back. But it's good to see him back. So I'm kind of excited as well. So this is the biggest challenge as far as if you look at the last 3-4 years, India's success were predominantly built on its bowlers, right? Whether it's Australia, whether it's England, obviously back home as well. A lot of that success was built around Indian bowling unit. And that's where it started. Even if you look at the World Test Championship finals or the series before that, and you start thinking, you know what? Okay, Shami, well, he's not a spring chicken. Bumrah, we don't know when he's going to be back and what form he's going to be. Ishant is out. Umesh is also kind of, is in the final stages of his career. What after that? So I think this is going to be something that I guess all of us would be looking forward to in terms of the fast bowling, because again, let's not forget, last 4-5 years, the success, especially away from home, was predominantly around the Indian fast bowling unit. Shami, Bumrah, then Ishant Sharma, Umesh, all these guys. So yeah, it's going to be quite interesting how these youngsters come through.
I know not a lot of viewers in India would have seen a lot of Test cricket in West Indies since India last visited in 2019. But if you run through the numbers, West Indies has become it's a bit of a pace bowling paradise again. If you look at the last 5 years, it's the lowest average for bowlers in any country in Test cricket, and pacers average just about 22. The West Indian quicks average even better, and they've got 4 solid fast bowlers. So from a West Indies perspective, and they are looking obviously to pick themselves up from the misfortunes of white ball cricket, having not made a World Cup. Given their pace attack and given what we've seen of West Indian pitches, is that West Indies' biggest opening, their pace attack, trying to test out the Indian batting?
Definitely, yes. And as you mentioned, I mean, 4 quality pace bowlers, and all 4 of them in very good nick as well. Alzari Joseph's been phenomenal. Kema Roach for a while now, actually. And importantly, Kema Roach has been playing cricket as well. He was playing county cricket till, I guess, a week ago or something. So he's in good nick. Jason Holder, obviously, the all-rounder, comes in. Shannon Gabriel. So they've got a really good quality fast bowling. And like you said, if you look at the pitches that's been on offer in the Caribbean last year, maybe a couple of years now, it's got a little more help than what we've seen in the past decade or so. So obviously that would be India's biggest challenge. While it would help the younger fast bowlers to kind of, get a little bit of help, and that would be an advantage for them. But as far as challenge for the Indian team is concerned, is definitely their fast bowling unit.
It's been well over 20 years since West Indies last won any Test match against India. It was 2002. Do you see any openings for them in this series? How do you expect this contest to go?
I think it's going to be an interesting one because obviously you've got a new look India side as well on one side. So and obviously an unknown commodity as a commodity as far as the West Indies batting is concerned. We haven't seen much of Tej Narayan Chanderpaul. We've seen bits and pieces of that batting unit. So that's an unknown commodity. And if you look at that batting unit, they haven't played a lot of Test match cricket. So you can't, kind of fall back on videos and what they've done in the past either as much. So I think that's going to be interesting. So, and obviously there'll be a point of proof, and with Brian there in that dugout as well. I mean, one of the biggest things that I think West Indies cricket is the pride factor, what they've achieved over the years, and, how they had dominated in the past. And Brian being there, I think apart from the other tactical and skill that he brings to the table is also that sense of pride that West Indies cricket have had in the past, and the achievements that they've had in the past. So I think it's going to be an interesting one. A new look West Indies side to a great extent, new look Indian side to a great extent as well, and a lot of unknown commodities there.
You used to enjoy your predictions every now and then while you were with us in the IPL. Want to get that back up? Give us a scoreline.
Listen, I'm still going to back India. There's no two ways about it. I think India still, on paper or even performance-wise, I think they're ahead. So if weather doesn't interrupt, I'm going to go with 2-0 actually, or rather 0-2 India's favor.
Right. And I'll give you the disclaimer that this will be the first and last prediction I ask. Test matches, we don't get into all of that. So you can heave a sigh of relief. Deep Dasgupta will be giving us company through this test series. Be sure to join us right after the toss, which is around 7 p.m. IST on Wednesday. We'll be here on ESPN Cricinfo Match Day, setting up the first test between West Indies and India.